Alrighty, so as you can tell, leaves are falling. It is starting to be fall, and we have some work to do here. So let's take a look and see what the SheShed's looking like so far. As you can see, we've got a little bit of a pile here, but so far things are looking pretty clean. They're looking pretty good over here. Now, what I've been wanting to do is I'm trying to get this thing sealed in and airtight and as good as we can before the cold hits. And believe me, it'll hit. So the goal for today is to try and get some more of this this OSB 4x8 sheathing on this wall, and then as much of this wall as we possibly can. I bought 4 sheets at Lowe's yesterday. Again, this project is really kind of, I'm only able to do it as the budget permits. So yeah, but let's see what we can do today. All right. So what I want to do is I want to start off with an easy wall. Again, it's been a few weeks since I've been doing any work to this place. So I want to start off with something easy, get myself back into a rhythm, and then yeah, go from there. So I think the best way to start is, like I said, this first piece is going to be the easiest one, because all of the others I foresee having to do cutting, because yeah, because we've got this angle up top here, but this one should be nice and simple. It's of course a 4-foot by 8-foot sheathing board. So this shed is 8 foot on the outside, which means on the inside I'm gonna have to take in a little bit. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what we've got. Be a lot easier if I had someone to help me, you know. So I've got 7 foot, so I've got 88 and a half inches. 88 and a half inches. So that's not too bad. I stupidly left this out. I left this in a bucket, and the bucket, of course, it rained that one night. Live in the desert, never rains, and then of course the one night I leave this in a bucket, it gets filled with water. Now it's rusted and won't close. So we're going 88 and a half. So let's go on out to our OSB sheathing. Let's measure it out, and then we'll get started. We'll get some cuts going. as my day's gonna be. Everything else after that, all of these other cuts, they're gonna be a lot more difficult. Just angles and stuff. This is, like I said, this is about as easy as it's gonna get. So I'm gonna move the camera back inside and we're gonna see how the whole thing fits so far. Bit, of course, is at the bottom of the damn pipe. Gonna take too long, so what I'm gonna do, gonna do a little bit of magic. Boom. All right, so as we know, I haven't exactly been the luckiest with the first time measuring, fit of this. So I'm hoping that I can buck the trend and maybe for once get a good fit on the first try. But yeah. Okay, so as you know, I don't have the best luck of fitting right on the first try. This is my first try for this corner here. I'm gonna throw it up there, see if it fits. A lot of you may notice that there's a vent up there. Well, if you didn't notice, I just pointed it out to you. There's a vent up there. For now, I'm just going to get this up there, screw it, secure it, and then what I'm going to do is probably in a later video, which is probably going to be filmed maybe later today, but I will cut that out and then fit in a vent, so an interior vent on this side. But I think with the way the temperatures are right now, with the way that the climate is right now, it's super dry, it's kind of cool, there's not much going on, we should be just fine. But what I've done is I put my drill right there, so if it fits on the first go, I can just grab it and hopefully save myself some embarrassment. I've got myself some screws here so that I've got something to screw it into, but I guess let's just try it out. Oh God. Okay, so I'm gonna just put one in right here and hope to God that it'll hold. So, ta-da! Like he said, don't think that I'm going to leave that vent closed, because I know how important it is for the structure, for the shit to get, you know, good airflow and to stop, you know, of course, mold and mildew and stuff like that. But that's what it looks like for now. It's all nice, sealed up, and good and solid. And one of the things that I wanted to do, one of the things that I like doing about doing the sheathing layer before I do kind of the nicer layers, I like the fact that, at least in my mind, the sheathing adds just another layer of stability to the whole structure. Of course, I used the thick, I think it was 3/4 inch sheathing. I think that's what it is. So, you know, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I think it was the 3/4 inch sheathing outside, and then of course the interior. I've got this what is this, 1/4 inch thick. It's pretty thin. I'm sure it says it on here somewhere, but yeah. So basically, what I want to do with this is, I just want a really nice, safe, and secure place for my wife to come to just have fun, to relax, to do whatever it is that she wants to do. and you know, I can be out doing my thing or out going somewhere and just know that she's safe, she's okay, because that's my goal. So I guess now it's time that we tackle, let me just show you this wall right here. Okay, so let's take a look here. So my plan is this. Got some of this insulation that I filled in some of the gaps here. My plan is this. I'm going to take my OSB sheathing, and instead of doing a bunch of fancy cuts, which I was going to do in the beginning, but then I decided against it, I'm going to take my OSB sheathing, cut it, of course, to the width of the SheShed. Once it's cut down to the width of the SheShed, I'm actually going to cut the height of the 4x8 to just about here. So I'm going to have a bunch of smaller pieces, but the first piece is going to cover up to here, and then I'm going to take my last OSB sheathing piece, and I'm going to do the upper piece here, and then once the upper piece is done, then I'm going to do the side pieces. And I think that's going to be a good strategy for that. So yeah, let's take a look here and let's get some measurements, and yeah. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I don't like to share a whole lot about my private life on here, but my dad, best dad ever. I love him. Just the funniest, smartest guy I know. But my dad's a bit of a hypocrite at times, because he always drilled it into me, oh, Thomas, you know, measure twice, cut once, that sort of thing. Really, really good advice. And yet, my dad is English. My mom and dad are both English. I'm the first American in my family. But in England, they have a term, they have an expression called bodger. Basically, it's doing a job half-ass. And while my dad is giving me all this, you know, really good advice, he also has a bit of a habit of being a bodger, doing things half-ass. And he'll do this thing where he'll finish a job. He'll stand back a couple times, look it up and down, and then if I'm there, he'll look at me and he goes, "That'll do." And my dad, of course, he lives over in Europe. My mom and dad both live in Europe, so I don't get to see him very much. But when I'm doing projects like this, I kind of can't help but feel closer to him, you know? I miss him a lot. But yeah, you know what he'd say? Get back to work. So that's what we're gonna do. pretty good. That's pretty good, that is. I'm happy with that. Let's start to get it screwed in a little bit. If I line this piece up, you can't tell, but that bottom piece is what came from the factory. So this is actually a really flat bottom, and then the left side, of course, is the straight edge. So it's the perfect 90-degree angle, or at least as close as you'll get when it comes to this kind of wood. So what I do is I line it up with the stud, and then I've got my line, I've got my stud line. So now that way I don't have to go figuring out, you know, where my stud is. Apart, of course, from this stud. What I think I want to do. What I think I'm going to do. I have an idea. me see if I'm smart or if this is a dumb idea. Sure. So, here's my idea. My idea is this. I take my last 4x8. I cut it to the width of the shell, which is, I think, 86 inches. So I cut it to the width. Now I've got my width down. And I use this cutoff that I used for this back piece. What I've done now is I've given myself a nice straight line, and now I know where my start point is for my diagonal cut and where my end point is. So what I do now is I grab the tape measure, I measure this distance, and then of course the distance on the other side. And then if I've done it right and if I've thought right, then I have my top piece done. And that's kind of the hardest bit. And then I've just got to do these side pieces. And then basically 2/3 of the sheathing is done. Then I've got this, or maybe 3/4 rather, if we're gonna be specific about it. But that's kind of the premise of it. And so I think that'll work. I'm actually proud of myself for coming up with that. It's pretty dang smart. Pat on the back. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab some measurements, get some cuts, and then we're just going to put that last piece up there. All right, so this is the piece that I've cut. So now I'm just going to have to see if the measurements and everything that I took before were accurate, if it was good. I've got my screws, of course, so I'm going to undo this piece and then drop it and then bring this piece up and see how we fared. Of course, it's not perfect. That's a pretty damn good fit, if I may say so myself. Yeah, I'm proud of that. I made a mistake. I made a mistake. feeling real good about myself, thinking, yes, it's good. And then I was looking at it and I was like, something here ain't right. And I used the straight edge of the 4x8 because I knew that that would be straighter than a cut that I could make. So the plan, of course, was to put that edge along the window because I wanted it to look nice and clean. I forgot about it in the moment, so I'm looking at it, putting it up, and I'm like, oh, this looks decent. And then I'm like, wait, that's off a little bit. And so I'm looking at it, and I'm like, there's something wrong. And then I see that straight edge up top, and I'm like, oh, that's what it is. But, tell you what, that is good. I'm pleased with that. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna cut, then I'm gonna fill in those pieces, and then if I have any lumber left over, I might do this. We'll see. We'll see. Alrighty. Alright. So hopefully we are now good. I've cut out both pieces and let's test them out, I guess. Okay, so we were able to get this wall done, minus the vent. And we were able to get this wall done, minus the vent. Now it's all starting to look very woody, but trust me, this is not the final look for the shed. It's gonna be a lot of color. It's not gonna. This is basically just, again, it's just another layer to kind of keep it nice and firm and rigid and without sounding too inappropriate here. So my last wall is this wall here. And then of course I got to do the ceiling. Now I've got a couple of ideas for the ceiling. Still playing around with it, depends on the budget. But hopefully I'll be able to get the next couple of videos sped up a little bit and it won't be as long of a wait. But yeah, we're looking pretty good here so far. Yeah. So really happy with the progress of the day. Shed's coming along really well. Really happy, excited. If this is a video that you like, please go ahead and consider subscribing to the channel. Click the notifications icon. You'll be notified whenever videos come out. Just want to thank you all so much for your support. Appreciate you all for your patience. Sorry, one of my biggest fans on here. She loves the SheShed videos. I was thinking about you when I made this today. Hope it was worth the wait. Thank you so much for your patience, every single one of you. Take care. Bye.